In 1702, a convinced murderer named Thomas Busby was about to be hanged for his crimes. His last request was to have his final meal served at his favorite pub in Thirsk, England. He finished his meal, stood up, and said, "May sudden death come to anyone who dares sit in my chair." The chair remained in the pub for centuries, and patrons would often dare one another to sit in the cursed seat. During World War II, airmen from a nearby base frequented the pub, and locals noticed that the soldiers who sat in the chair would never return from war.
Robert's influence seemed to grow stronger and stronger. A plumber working alone in the turret room with Robert fled the house in terror. He later said he'd heard Robert giggling. Other visitors swore that Robert's expression changed when they looked at him. Sometimes they said that he looked like pure evil.
The anguished man captured on video. This scary-looking painting was kept in Sean Robinson's grandmother's attic for 25 years before he inherited it from her. She had always told Robinson that the painting was evil, explaining how the artist who created it had used his own blood mixed with paint and had killed himself shortly after completing it. She claimed to hear voices and crying when the painting was displayed, and to see a shadowy figure of a man in her house, which is why she locked it away in the attic. As soon as Robinson took the painting into his home, he and his family started experiencing the same kinds of creepy phenomenon. His son fell down the stairs. His wife felt something stroking her hair, and they saw the shadow man in her crying. Robinson decided to set up a camera overnight to try to capture some of the events on tape. Robinson's YouTube video shows slamming doors, rising smoke, and the painting falling from the wall for no reason. A debug box is a wine cabinet which, according to Jewish folklore, is said to be haunted by a restless evil spirit that is capable of haunting and possessing the living. One particular debug box became famous when it was listed on eBay, along with a terrifying backstory. The story began in September of 2001. The auction was held to sell off the belongings of a 103-year-old woman.
In 1849, a girl from a rich family named Anna Baker fell in love with a low-class ironworker. Anna's father did not want her daughter to marry a man from the lower class. No matter how much Anna begged and pleaded, he refused to let her marry. Anna was deeply in love with him and even bought a wedding dress in hopes that one day her dreams might just come true. But Anna's father, as stubborn as he was, never let her marry her one true love. Anna was so angry with her father, she decided that she would never marry, no matter how many suitors her father would bring to the table. Eventually, by the time her father died, it was too late, and her true love was gone. Anna lived out her days alone and very, very angry. The servants of the household would sometimes see Anna wearing a wedding dress and dancing alone under the moonlight. Anna died old and very bitter in 1914. Eventually, the baker's mansion turned into a museum. Anna's wedding dress was placed in a glass case in her old bedroom. Visitors of the museum constantly report seeing a woman's image looking back at them when staring through the glass case at Anna's wedding dress. It's as if Anna is still wearing her wedding dress in the afterlife. Visitors of the baker's museum also report that they can see the wedding dress sway from side to side. From time to time, visitors would tell the tour guides that they saw a woman dancing while wearing a wedding dress within the baker's estate.
Somehow I would break and destroy.